Maternal Health Awareness Month, and we are going to be going live now with Best Life Counseling Services to talk about mental health awareness with a focus on self-care. So I'm going to get Nadia over on here now, and we're going to do all. Hello. Happy Thursday. Hello, everyone. I'm going to be joined with Nadia from Hey, Nadia.
Hi, Diana. Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's so good to see you.
You too. So, I was letting the community know that we're going to go live to talk about mental health awareness with a focus on self-care. We've kind of talked through, so you know all how it goes. If you all have any questions as we're talking, feel free to drop it down in the window, in the comment box, and we will get to it as well. So, Nadia, thank you for joining Pump with Purpose. So I would love for you to introduce yourself to the community.
Yes. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me and having me here on your platform. I'm just excited to share this space with you all today. My name is Nadia Ramsaran, and I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor in the state of California. And I'm the founder and a CEO of Best Life Counseling Services, a mental health group practice consisting of myself and 3 other clinicians. We offer individual and couples counseling support, as well as support groups and workshops to the community. We really especially focus on working with millennial women and their families. And so that's a little bit about me. I'm also in the process of working on becoming certified as a perinatal mental health counselor. So it's an additional certification that will enable me to work more closely with the perinatal population in my practice. So I'm really excited about that.
Are you over here sharing sauce, Nadia? It's some sauce. Congratulations in advance. I know how it is when you are, on your way to another certificate, how that can be. So
yes,
that's some real sauce over here. I feel so special.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really excited about that. And it honestly just came about as my own journey through motherhood and recognizing, honestly, the lack of support, mental health support that there is specifically for moms, for caregivers. And so for myself, it was something that I wanted to be able to bring into my practice and be able to offer that service.
I love it. I love it. So I'm going to dive in. Like I said, if you have any questions, let us know. So, listen, I gotta take a. So I've been wanting to bring on, because I know everyone keeps saying, mental health awareness, but I want resources. I want to let's talk about it. What are the biggest concerns? So I know my own journey has just evolved over time. So when I started out, I tell my community all the time, I'm on this side of motherhood. I'm not saying I get it right all the time, but if I get it wrong, it don't bother me now.
Right.
Like, what's wrong with you? All of a sudden, it's like, because back then, my husband, I was always a perfectionist by nature. So I had to do everything right all the time. And mother, one thing that taught me, oh, you're going to get it wrong more times probably than you get it right. But everybody's alive. Everybody's okay.
Right.
We're going to live to see another day.
Yeah.
But everyone goes through their own struggle. I remember, when I first had my first son, nobody really tells you, forget about, breastfeeding and stuff. No one tells you all the emotions, post-partum struggles that accompanies, being a mom. And I think I spent a lot of time in the shower shedding tears because now I can be more vulnerable. Now if something wrong, everybody gonna know, but not everybody at that place. And I tell people you have to go through your own process to get where you're going. But I think what I want to know is, what do you think would be the most helpful for moms to realize as they start their journey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just as you were sharing, Diana, well, for me too, just thinking my own entrance into motherhood. My son was born March 2020, literally a week before our state went into lockdown. So my entrance into motherhood also looked just completely different than I expected. But for me, just from a mental health standpoint and just my own personal journey, I would say be prepared to give yourself a lot of grace and to be gentle with yourself. Just the transition into motherhood in itself, you know, can feel very drastic, very traumatic. We all have different experiences of our entrance into motherhood or our birth stories, just so many layers there. And I remember for myself, I had a traumatic birth story. And you know, you're just like running on adrenaline in those moments. And so it probably wasn't until like weeks later that I started processing and it was hitting me and all the emotions were coming up and it was like, what do I do with this? You know? So I think just giving yourself a lot of grace and being prepared to be gentle with yourself. And I know that's something that's easier said than done, especially as women, as mothers. We can do it for everyone else but ourselves sometimes. So I think if you can prepare yourself with that mindset, like going in and being more gentle, like you said, kind of if you are somebody who is a perfectionist coming into motherhood, yeah, it's really, really hard because I remember my first experience of mom guilt and I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. Like it's real, it really exists, because I have had mom friends before I became a mom and they would talk about it and I didn't really get it. But when I started to experience it, it really hit me. So I would say, yeah, gentleness and grace.
Yes, I love it. I just think that, you know, everyone goes through it differently, and you cannot look at one person and just say, oh, I went through this, and so what you're feeling is not validated, or what you feel,
Yeah,
you know, it's normal. I hate that. You know, everyone
absolutely.
has a feel how they feel in the way that they feel, and everyone is. I'm so tired of everyone always trying to tell us how to feel. What is normal? What
Right,
is it just runs the gamut of people just don't ask people like, how do you feel?
right.
What's going on? Not this, oh, that's, you know, that's okay. This is no, you know, so we're gonna go all the way there. My community knows we're gonna go there and have those tough moments. So I want to also ask you, you know, about just how I'm trying to be, you know, because there are people, I'm always sensitive when it comes to mental health, mental capacity, because everyone has a right to feel how they feel, trying to be sensitive to make sure that people are seen, heard, valued, validated on this platform. Like, I always bring people to you that is a safe space and place. So please understand, it is very important to me that doesn't, so, you know, I was talking to Nadia and I, we share the same business coach, and I was talking to her and I was like, I'm nervous because when I bring people, I need to make sure that there's safe space and place. I don't care how many people you follow. Like, I know when I bring someone on the platform, my community is going to be taken care of. You're not going to feel like little. You're not going to feel like, oh, you're not, oh, you know, something's wrong if you feel
Yeah.
like. I also don't feel like, so I have my own mental health coach. And I've had her when I was in corporate America. She helped evolve me through the process. And I used to tie, this isn't even on the list of things, but I used to tie like, I need therapy if this is wrong. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
It's just talking to somebody about what the heck is
yeah,
going on, and not like, it's different from talking to your friends. It's different from talking to your
yeah.
sister. Like, girl, that's what happened. No, sometimes you need real ways to
Right.
process how you feel, real action plans. Like when I talk to my girls, I have an action plan when I get done. I don't get steps to,
Right.
you know, how is it going this month? You know, I see her one month every month for about 10 minutes, like process like what's happening, what am I dealing with
I love
heavy
that.
on lactation. You know,
Yeah.
my I hear all day. I can't share with you what I hear all day, but I just want to normalize before we get into more things of like, just
Yeah.
you ask for someone to ask for help doesn't mean it's like something,
Right.
that's the automatic postpartum depression. That's the
Yeah.
automatic. Sometimes you just need to talk through what you're going through. It doesn't
Yeah.
even be something's wrong. So I just want to normalize and, you know, just, and I'm skipping because I really feel like it needs to be said earlier up front in this tab of like how to help people overcome that they need to talk to somebody. Like, you know, and it doesn't have to be someone that specializes in mental health. Doesn't mean
Right.
like going to go from A to Z in 2 seconds.
Right.
Like, you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, no, and I appreciate you so much for just normalizing that and bringing this up. It's so important that, and I think again, the layer of us as mom and as women, and just the pressure, societal pressure on us. So I could see how saying like I'm going to therapy can present or make it look at it's like, oh, what's wrong, what's going on, or oh, she seems like she has it all together on the outside, but what's really going on, why is she going to therapy? So, you know, society, our culture doesn't make it easy for us from the get-go, in that sense, to be vulnerable. Um, and so, you know, therapy, whether it is therapy or, you know, like you said, a life coach or a support person, and definitely when we get into this later, talk about your support system too is so essential in motherhood. But especially, yeah, having that person or group of people that you can go to, that you can just be vulnerable, that you can be real with, and you know, therapy does offer that because your therapist will be that objective outside person, that doesn't have the, you know, kind of the biases that maybe other people in your life will have and will want to like sway you in certain directions or give their input or advice. Therapy is not advice. I definitely will put that out there too, because sometimes people say that, well, like I could just go talk to my friend and they'll give me advice. And no, it's not advice. It's like you said, it's your own space. It's a safe space. It is coming up with a plan. It is connecting with yourself. That's something in our practice that is a mission of ours, is supporting women in connecting more deeply with themselves so they can connect with the people in their lives. Because if it's hard for me to connect with myself, it's going to impact how I show up in every other area of my life. And so that is a mission of ours. But yes, exactly. It's a safe space and learning some strategies. I love when I go to my therapy session, my therapist, she offers late night sessions. So I do like a 9 o'clock when my little one's already in bed. I get in my PJs, take my shower, get my pajamas, light my candle, and have my session. So I look at it as my me time.
And I guess I should say, I say it's my coach, but no, she's a licensed therapist. I don't know all the, you know, it's all.
Yeah, we have so many different acronyms out there.
Yeah, I know I did say coach, but no, she is a licensed therapist, licensed, she was like in my EAP program, and just when
Okay.
corporate, I took,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I took from corporate America. So
I love it.
I just didn't want to lose, like she saw people privately as well, and I just didn't
Yeah.
want that. So I want to be clear. I know I said coach, but I guess I want to be clear. Like, don't, sometimes you really need to talk to somebody licensed. They put
Yeah.
this for a reason.
Right.
It's some real tactics and things to just help you to overcome whatever you're going through. So how would you realize that you have a concern postpartum? And Nadia, don't give me that, let me tell you, Nadia, don't give me the list that's at the doctor's office now. Don't do it to me, Nadia. Don't do it today.
Don't pull up my DSM.
Someone recognize that there is a concern postpartum mental health. And I know the list is there, and that's how doctors, you know, recognize. But can we get the real deal of like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not that I don't like the surface level. Like, I took a test and the doctor, I lied on it. I lied on the test just so the doctor wouldn't ask me any other questions.
No more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does someone recognize like I could?
Yeah, I was reflecting on this, and I was looking through like the typical symptoms we hear and see from the doctors, and so much of it I was like, man, a lot of this is just going through motherhood. It is like what we experience in our day to day, you know, anxiety, high stress. But I would say when it comes to being more so along the lines of postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, it's where it's a word we use in the clinical word, pervasive. It's, you know, just constant. It's not just in, you know, oh, I'm just feeling it in certain situations or environments. It's everywhere you go, you feel this way. You know, the depression, it's really, you're just feeling it you're in those feelings a lot, and it's hard to motivate yourself out of them. You know, I would say we've all hear about the baby blues, you know, and so the typical time frame, and I don't like putting, you know, like these labels on what is a time frame, but generally with like baby blues, you know, that spans anywhere up to like a few weeks after giving birth. But whereas if you're experiencing more of what like intense feelings of sadness, loneliness, anxiety, a lot of just constant worry and thoughts, and you're finding that's going on for like several weeks to months, that's where I would say that's a concern there. Those would be some red flags for me as a therapist on that end of things, if that's been ongoing. I've worked with clients, you know, who have experienced severe postpartum anxiety, where they're constantly worried about every little thing that is affecting their child, whether it's, you know, how their bottles are being taken care of. They're having issues trusting other people around their child because they're not confident or comfortable that they will do things the exact way they need to be. They're constantly worried about their child being at risk of getting sick or getting hurt or being harmed. So there's just these very ongoing, pervasive thoughts. And in the more severe end of it, some clients experience like hallucinations, delusions. So it's a spectrum really of symptoms. But I would say, you know, we know ourselves best. So when you are starting to feel like this isn't me, or this is really hard for me to feel like I can kind of move forward, I would say that might be kind of an indicator to talk to someone.
I love the word, the content. You know, I would, you know, walk in the room and make sure my baby was breathing, right?
Yes.
Oh, something we may do, but like you said, I love the word. I think that's a really nice differentiating word. Like I never even thought about it like that, because you know, I would be worried. Well, make sure daycare didn't, you know, because you hear the story.
Yeah, of course.
Constant, that I really think is a great thing to consider when it comes to, do I need to talk of that? I skipped that. I kind of talked about the mental health already, but
Yes.
can you talk about the family dynamic, right? So as family dynamics change, and I'm talking about going from, you know, not just 0 child to 1 child, child to 2 children, 2 and more, everything changes along the way.
Right.
And I know I had to have a real conversation, you know, because when you just have one, it's like one. And that's not just like a bad thing. It's one.
Yeah.
2, I was like, wait a minute, I'm outnumbered if I'm by myself. I don't have 2 hands, and I gotta, you know, don't let alone if I'm 2. Like that's a third baby in a way. So it's like, you know, what should be some of the things that you need to talk to people about? Significant other, if there's one, also not going to pretend that we are not in a world that create their family, however they choose to do so. And you know, it doesn't have to be the typical way that we usually see it, but
Right.
for your community, for your support system, for if there's a significant other present, if you have a mom or, you know, caregiving, but I also have other people, you have a nanny, like what does it look like to help people through when they start to introduce a child and introduce children to the dynamic? Because I think the biggest thing is we don't realize that it is inconveniencing having a child can be, let alone multiple children. It's not enough to create it for the world,
Yeah.
but like one think through when the dynamic changes, how to find their voice, they can find their peace, how to talk to find out what they want. Because I talk to my keynote, I'm like, when they pull up here, I'm saying, what do you want? That's the question. I tell you, what do you want? And it's so surprising the amount of people that have not even had the opportunity to even process motherhood journey. How do you think one should think through how, as they start that journey, 2 children or multiple children, how to have that conversation with family expand?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. That's a tough question to answer. Because sometimes we might have the luxury of, or the, you know, to think it through and plan, and then other times, you know, we have surprises, and then we're kind of like figuring it out as we go. But I think definitely still, you know, like you said, just having that conversation with the important people who are going to play a pivotal role in the support system, in the family dynamics. I think just having those they're going to be ongoing conversations. I don't think it's going to be like a one-time conversation and okay, we're all good, we're on the same page. Because remember, you know, people also will come with their own, you know, set of expectations, their own wants, and it may not be aligned to what you want. So I think, yeah, it would be important to maybe come up with 1 to 2 goals as a family. Like, okay, what are the goals we want to accomplish in like the next 6 months or a year? Making it bite-sized. When I'm working with clients, we talk about making our goals, you know, achievable and doable. So don't, you know, put anything out there that you feel is unrealistic for you as a family. And so I would say, yeah, it's just having those real conversations. Something that I've learned in my motherhood and just in being a business owner, delegation is key. So I fully feel as moms, we are CEOs of our family. So, you know, being able to delegate and play to people's strengths. So, you know, for example, you know, like maybe I'm not the best cook and my partner is, or there's someone else that's willing to step in and do that. Okay, can you do dinners like a few nights a week maybe, or things like that. So just playing to those strengths of the people that are part of your support system, delegating things off of your list that you're able to. I think that would also help a lot with the adjustment as you are expanding the family, as the family's expanding and what that's going to look like. Yeah, so I would say kind of starting there.
I love that. I think I was laughing myself. I wrote it down as a note so I wouldn't forget. Like the traditional gender roles do not at all. Like I think that sometimes, like when you said someone to cook, like my husband loves to cook, I don't cook a thing. I mean I cook, but you know, I'm not, there are no
Same.
are prepared by my husband.
Right.
It's something that, you know, but I cut the grass in our household. Now my husband, like, we don't hire someone, sometimes we will do it ourselves, and he would have complete, has allergy induced asthma, so he would have like complete,
Oh no, that's not good. Yeah.
And like the neighborhood people would be like, "You're cutting the grass." Yeah, I'm cutting the grass. Actually, let me tell y'all haven't cut some grass. That's why I'm being like, oh my gosh, it's so peaceful.
Is it like therapeutic? I could kind of see that. Like,
one more, and I don't even listen to music or anything because that's the, you know, I need to hear what's going on around.
yeah.
But it's so peaceful, let alone the exercise.
Right.
Like, you know, it's a hill because we have a walkout that, like, you know, it's to go down to walk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like upper body workout, full body workout, I'm sure.
Yes, and then the lawnmower broke the self-propelling feature, so I actually put to my husband get fixed belt. But look, what I'm saying is that I love it. People are like, oh, you don't get tired of it soon, and we're in like 3 years, and like I actually don't mind it when I need to do it. It's so
Right.
it actually is a trade-off because he has especially if I do it on the weekends, he has the kids in the house.
Right.
And, that's a good trade-off for me. I just want to, you know, say like those traditional roles, if someone does need to, you know, do a little bit more or differently, or get your skill set, you know,
Yeah.
to me, I'm not mad at all. You know, people talk
Yeah.
about Mary because
Exactly.
I didn't like to cook. I was like, no. But also a good thing for us was the doctor. So we're not going to act like we never argue in your household over here. So when we had children, and like we're both raised differently, when we first had our first son, because you don't know, you read the papers, and I mean to read the Googles of the world.
Dr. Google.
Yeah, and we agreed that if we were not in agreement with something with the child, the son, we could let the doctor be a tiebreaker because they
Mm-hmm.
can like our doctor's office. So that was a nice tactic of us not
I
avoid.
like that.
If I think something and he thinks something,
Yeah.
what we're gonna do? We're gonna ask the doctor. Even we do that now with our children when something's going on. We will call a professional
I love
than
it.
looking for and
Yes.
not friends. Because you get this, or if our friends have that true skill set, we do have
Right.
some amazing friends that have amazing skill sets that we bounce things off of, but we're not talking. We really do try to find professionals when we need something. So
Yeah.
last
I love
talk about before I let Nadia tell a lot of some things are going on. If you're still on here, we got some surprises. I should have said that at the beginning. But Superwoman Complex, right?
it.
And
Yeah.
about it tomorrow. I meant to do it today, but I got my dates mixed up on when my social media team was going to post it. But when enough is enough, like
Mm-hmm.
you're tired of the S on your chest, you know,
Yeah.
how what are some ways to tell your like just some quick ways to like other than just saying everyone processes how they feel differently. How do you say how do you tell people around that you because the hardest part I feel like admitting that you need some help.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm pretty glad you're here because that was the hard part. Like, you mean I can't
Yeah.
do everything? You mean that you go through
Yeah.
growing up, you go to college. I don't care a lot on, but motherhood is not the way you.
It's a whole other deal, right? Yeah.
There's another human involved as well that you want to groom and shape and mold and nurture and not only be the best human that that person can, but also to rid some generational traumas.
Yeah.
Like just because you were raised a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do the same.
Right.
That's the one thing. Family, we do a great. I think say a great job in trying to take what we loved
Yeah.
and that makes
Same for us. Yeah.
look at it. But we really, really have tried that for our children. Because so, how do you say I may need some more support, even if it's at your job? Listen, I need some more support. Like that's the worst thing when you're every time you feel the first year you feel especially out all the time you feel like am I at work more? Am I gonna be at home more? Which
Right. Which one is it? Yeah.
home and family or just dealing with sometimes you have people in life that think just because they had a child in the past that your child they could just every child likes it this way.
Right.
How do you just I know I could just say speak up. I mean I know that sounds so easy to do and it took me a while to find my voice, so find my peace. Now I have no problem saying
Yeah.
if someone is just getting started, what are some ways to just help minus like support, what are some ways for people to help think through how to process it, tell someone that they need some more support?
Yeah. No, definitely. That's so important to think about. And I think going back to, again, what I said earlier, like our culture and society doesn't make it easy for us to be vulnerable and to show those vulnerabilities, right? And to be able to say, hey, I'm struggling, I need some help, or I need someone to step in. So going back to it's not easy for us to do that. I truly agree on that. I think starting there, validating your own feelings, because knowing that society most likely will not do it for us. Maybe people around us may not do it for us. So us validating our own feelings. And that's something I struggled with for a long time myself too, even like coming from a background where I was a people pleaser for a very long time. And like I needed other people to validate for me. Like it was okay to be mad. It was okay to feel this way. So really just doing some of that work around just validating yourself, I think is so important. And validating that you have a right to feel the way you feel. So I think that's a good first step, just owning those feelings, validating them, When it comes to asking for help, yeah, that is a really, really hard one. It's easier said than done. But some ways that could look like, it may not mean like directly asking for help. I think going back to like what I said earlier, like delegating, if there are things that can be delegated that you can take off of your plate, even if it's just temporarily, that could be a good step in that direction. So it doesn't feel as overwhelming. And I think the other thing I would add to that is just reminding ourselves we can't pour from an empty cup. As moms, we often are that like center of our family. We're, like I said, the CEOs. We're doing all the background work, appointments, and practices and whatnot that it takes to keep our families going. So we're really doing a lot of that work behind the scenes as well as in front. So just reminding that if we're depleted, we really can't continue giving to our families and into the lives of others. And so I talk a lot about burnout with clients that I work with, and mom burnout or parental burnout, caregiver burnout is very real. So if you're getting to that place where, again, that it's feeling constant, it's feeling pervasive, you're not enjoying the things you used to enjoy, that would be a sign to like pause and reflect on what's going on around you, what can change in your schedule, are there things that you can pivot, and so that's kind of where I would recommend starting in terms of like if you are experiencing exhaustion and burnout.
Awesome. I love it. So we're gonna yeah, I'm surprised.
If I can add one more, one more thing with that, so I was kind of alluding to self-care. And so definitely carving out time in your schedule for self-care, because as I share with my clients, that time is not going to magically appear on our schedules. In our busy lives that we lead, there's just always opportunities for that to continue to be pushed aside. So I encourage my clients to schedule it on their calendar, just like we schedule everything else that we do. Self-care shouldn't be treated any differently. So if that's, once a week or a midweek, facial or walk or whatever self-care means for you, I would say, scheduling that on your calendar consistently and sticking to that.
Yes, I love it. I want to let Nadia have the opportunity to tell you about the freebies, any resources that she has. We're going to announce a giveaway. I'm going to let Nadia tell you about it. But the group was going to be a little quiet. I know the topic is very vulnerable. So I'm going to say, the first person that put their name in the chat, win. But then we definitely the name was on a platform. So I'm going to change that, just given the sensitivity of the topic. And when Nadia gives her way that she's going to announce that will be done, I want the first person to her will win. So if you're still on here, it's not going to be our announcement, but if you're still on here, when she announces what's going to be given away to you or to someone, I want you to, the first person to DM her, please respect if someone beat you to it. I don't want to put it on. I was going to have the first person to tell us their handle, but then your handle will be, because this live will be saved to my public platforms.
Right.
So just thinking about how I know sensitive this topic can be. So whoever, if you are interested to DM Nadia for the first person to do so, will win what she's going to give away. But I want you to tell about your resources, any freebies, and the giveaway.
Yes, perfect. And so I want to offer to everyone on your platform my 30-day self-love challenge. And so over at Best Life Counseling, we love to encourage our clients to, like I said, connect more deeply with themselves and engage in more self-love. So if you visit my website, which I can share that with you, Diana, and we can figure out how to get that, my website, which is bestlife-counseling.com, and you sign up there and you'll get access to a 30 days worth of journal prompts that will support you in connecting with yourself on a more deeper level. And for the giveaway, I have a workshop that will be coming up very soon. I don't have a date as of yet. It's in the works. It's going to be a virtual workshop, and it is on the topic of self-love and self-acceptance, and really big on that. And so I would love to give away a ticket to that workshop to like you said, the first person to DM me. That workshop is valued at $99. So I'd love to offer that and to have one of you join us when we go live on that workshop. And I will definitely be in touch with more details as that comes available.
Perfect. I'm putting in your handle and I'm going to pin it so everyone, make sure I get it all spelled right. And tell me if that's not right, Nadia.
Yes, no, that's correct.
So
yes.
Everyone, can you tell us again? You said what's the 30-day
30 days self-love challenge. So it's 30 days of journal prompts, worth of journal prompts that can support you in helping connect with yourself on a deeper level. Journaling is one of the recommendations I have for my clients, and I found that a lot of clients, myself included, feel very intimidated to just sit down and journal and like write about my day. I feel like most of us don't like to do that or just don't have the time. So I've had clients who said, if I had like a prompt, that would help me. So we created 30 days worth of prompts, and they're very like just short to the point prompts that will kind of help you connect with yourself in a way that you typically probably wouldn't if you were just doing like a free open writing.
Yes, I love it. So like Nadia said, website is at the bottom. You can DM her with any questions, but if
Yes.
you'd like to win the giveaway, definitely send her a message and we will, she will let you know, that you're the first person to win, and then we can go from there. So Nadia, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. It's the heart out. Thank you so much for having this tough conversation. Like I know that, we post the post. I've been posting that this was a focus on mental health awareness, but I'm not trained in it. Not going to claim that I'm trained in it. So I wanted to bring it on to the community. So I just thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I'm going to close out the live community. I know people are starting to roll in because I usually go live at this time. Anyway, I'm going to pop back on to do my normal pumping Q&A, but I just wanted to thank Nadia so much for your time today. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Diana, and everyone who joined us today. Thank you. The honor was truly mine. Thank you for having me, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, too.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye, Diana.
See ya.
Bye.